Title: Stoic Fire, Bhagavad Gita Courage. How Ancient Warriors Mastered Unshakable Self-Belief. Introduction. In a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain, the timeless lessons of ancient warriors still speak to us today. From the disciplined calm of Roman legionaries to the fierce devotion of Indian archers, these heroes carried a single, potent truth. Self-belief is forged through courage, clarity, and a fire that cannot be extinguished. This script will guide you through 5 chapters of ancient stories and modern practices, showing you how to ignite that inner fire and walk with stoic conviction into any battlefield your life presents. Chapter 1: The Fire of a Sword. Story: Achilles and the Spear of Iphigenia. When Achilles, the greatest warrior of the Greeks, was wounded in the heel, he still found the heat of battle within his heart. According to Homer's Iliad, after a moment of panic, he remembered the promise he made to the gods and the honor of the battlefield. His spear burned with the fervor of that promise, and he emerged victorious because his belief in his cause was unyielding. Insight. A warrior is only as strong as his conviction. The spark ignited by purpose does not burn when faced with doubt, it only grows brighter. Modern application. When you start a new project or confront a fear, write a single sentence that encapsulates why you are doing it. Place it on your phone wallpaper. Every time you get distracted by anxiety, glance at that sentence and rekindle the fire. Blending time. The ancient Greeks celebrated Anak, the inevitability of fate, yet each warrior still had to choose the path to their destiny. Today, we face a similar dilemma, the inevitable noise of social media, the pressure to conform. Yet the inner spark of purpose still exists. Conclusion. Let the story of Achilles remind you that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to push forward despite it. Call to action. If you feel the flame inside you, hit like, share this insight, and subscribe for more tales of timeless bravery. Reflective question. When you first held your sword, what promise did you make to yourself? Chapter 2: Staying Steady in the Storm. Story: Marcus Aurelius and the Imperial Campaign. While campaigning against the Germanic tribes, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius faced harsh storms, both literal and figurative. In his Meditations, he writes that the universe is indifferent to our suffering, so the wise man does not complain but accepts reality. In the thick of battle, he kept his mind clear, making decisions that saved thousands of lives. Insight. Control what you can, your reaction. The rest is the world's weather. Modern application. When deadlines loom, stop the mind from spiraling. Instead, pause, take a breath, and break your task into the smallest action you can do in 3 minutes. Your calm will shift the entire project toward completion. Blending time. Marcus Aurelius's Stoicism was built on the idea that inner peace is earned through self-discipline, not by mastering the external environment, but by mastering oneself. Today, we have smartphones and endless notifications. This same principle can help us keep our attention focused when the world buzzes. Conclusion. A Stoic's strength lies not in the absence of disturbance, but in the mastery of how he reacts to it. Call to action. If you want a calmer mind in modern chaos, like, share, and hit subscribe for more Stoic wisdom turned everyday practice. Reflective question. What would you change about your reaction to the next challenge? Chapter 3: Courage in Stillness. Story: Arjuna's moment on the battlefield. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna sits on a chariot, torn between fighting his relatives and his duty as a warrior. The wise sage Krishna talks to him, explaining that true courage is rooted in the self that does not fear death, that transcends attachment. Arjuna finally finds that flame inside and steps onto the field with unshakable resolve. Insight. Courage is less about action than about aligning your inner truth with your outer world. Modern application. Before launching a startup, meditate on the reasons behind your venture, not for a claim, but for a problem you see. Let that conviction steady your nerves. Blending time. In India, the idea of dharma, duty, was central. Arjuna's story embodies the idea that to truly act, one must first know their calling. Today, many people shift careers or adopt new roles without understanding if it aligns with their dharma. Conclusion. Let the calm of Arjuna remind you that true bravery begins deep within, not just on the surface of bravado. Call to action. If this message resonates, give us a like, share it, and subscribe for more powerful stories of ancient courage in modern times. Reflective question. What is the hidden truth that drives your actions? Chapter 4, Shaping Others with Fire. Story, the Spartan mother and her son. Eunomus, a Spartan soldier, once returned victorious to a city that had not yet prepared to accept his heroism. The local magistrates feared his zeal, but his mother, seeing his boldness, spoke up. She reminded them that the city's future depended on the strength and courage of its young. Inspired by her, they lifted him into a triumphant salute. Insight. Your personal courage can ignite collective belief. Let it ripple outward. Modern application. If you are a leader, celebrate small acts of bravery within your team. Spotlight them in meetings, and the culture will thrive on mutual confidence. Blending time. Sparta was famous for valor, but a mother's courage was also the catalyst that kept the Spartan society resilient. In today's corporate contexts, the everyday voice, a manager encouraging a new proposal, can create seismic shifts in morale. Conclusion. Remember that the flame you kindle might be the spark that lights a world. Call to action. If you want to become that spark, like, share, and subscribe to our channel for stories that translate ancient bravery into modern leadership. Reflective question. How can your courage help others believe in their own potential? Chapter 5, The Endless Fire of Self-Belief. Story, the Chinese general Sun Tzu's insight. In The Art of War, Sun Tzu writes, "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting." A Chinese general once defied the odds by negotiating peace through humility and confidence. This action, rooted in unshakable self-belief, avoided endless bloodshed. Insight. True power comes from the certainty within. External conflict is the byproduct of internal conviction. Modern application. When negotiating, step into the room with a clear, calm mind. List the core values you cannot compromise on. You will negotiate from strength, not desperation. Blending time. Sun Tzu's emphasis on psychological mastery is as relevant for a business leader negotiating a merger as for a soldier commanding troops. Conclusion. Let Sun Tzu's calm triumph remind you that the fire that powers us is not an outward blaze, but the steady flame of our convictions. Call to action. If you felt that fire rise within you today, hit like, share, and subscribe for more stories that fire up your inner warrior. Reflective question. What core belief can you summon today to change the outcome of your next conflict? Philosophy Spotlight, Stoicism, the Fire of Endurance. Stoicism, birthed on the marble streets of ancient Greece and perfected by Roman philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, teaches that our greatest allies are discipline, resilience, and clarity of mind. In modern terms, Stoicism is the internal quiet that keeps us grounded when the world feels upturned. At its core, Stoicism asserts that external events are indifferent. It does not mean we are uninterested, but that we do not let them dictate our feelings. Instead, we focus on our own thoughts and actions. When someone says, "Let us give this a stoic fire," a flame that burns strong yet controlled. Historical figure, Marcus Aurelius. The Roman emperor, ruler of a vast empire, faced innumerable crises, from barbarian invasions to civil unrest. Yet in his meditations, he writes, "When you are offended, let no other thing be as much or more offensive to you than the word that is spoken." Marcus taught that we have complete command over our responses. He demonstrated that the greatest triumphs arise from the strength of character, not merely circumstances. 3 lessons for modern success. 1. Master the inner dialogue. In a world saturated with noise, the Stoic encourages us to examine our thoughts like a gardener prunes a vine. Remove toxic rumination, nurture confidence. Today, this means asking yourself, is my worry rooted in fact or fear? 2. Practice voluntary discomfort. To develop resilience, Stoics would, for example, fast or endure cold. In a modern context, this could be a daily 5-minute walk without your phone or a scheduled period of isolation from social media. These practices sharpen your mental endurance and prepare you for unexpected challenges. 3. Accept impermanence. Stoicism teaches that change is constant. Instead of clinging to outcomes, focus on the process. Apply this by setting goals that are adaptable and revising your strategy after each failure, treating setbacks as lessons, not evidence of failure. Connecting to the theme. The theme of Stoic Fire, Bhagavad Gita Courage, showcases two distinct yet harmonious approaches to self-belief. Stoicism refines the inner fire to a quiet, constant blaze that remains unshaken by external storms. The Bhagavad Gita reminds us that courage must align with purpose, that one's duty must guide every action. These philosophies together shape a warrior who is resolute, purposeful, and unhurried. Takeaway: if you aim to master self-belief, adopt the Stoic practice of turning inward. Consciously observe your emotional reactions, strip them of irrational judgments, and turn your focus to action grounded in purpose. Allow that inner fire to guide you calmly through every challenge. Final call to action. Reflect on your internal dialogue. Make a conscious commitment today to observe, adjust, and embrace Stoic calm. If this sparked an interest, remember to like, share, and follow for more ancient wisdom that fuels modern ambition. And this script, rooted in the ancient fires of warriors and the steady flame of Stoic endurance, offers concrete paths to ignite and sustain unshakable self-belief. Let those stories resonate within you, and may the lessons of time guide your next courageous step.